Hills of the north, rejoice, valley and lowland stream, hark to the Advent voice. What comes next? What sort of environment does the Christmas story take place in? Well, first of all, that very familiar one of the complication of family and society, obligations, reputation. Joseph, the decent man, the righteous man, has to recycle his righteousness, his ideas of what is proper, because he is about to be compelled by that previous sound, firm idea of what is right to throw Mary out, to abandon her. And then bureaucracy and empire intervenes. That call, however we interpret it, whatever historians make of it, the compulsion to leave and go and do what you have to do, and then discover that the ability to do it, the space to do it in, the room in the inn, is simply not there. Then, as one of our Advent contributors points out, where does Mary have to go? Where does Jesus find his first fellowship, his first hospitality, other than side by side with the beasts, with the creatures, in a manger? Again, it's irrelevant whether people want to be forensic and say that whether it was a stable or not. The point is, because it's a manger, he's side by side in his birth with ox and ass, as the traditional carols love to put it. And then out on the hills there are people rejected by society, not really welcome, but there they are out there in symbiosis, you might say, with the sheep. And it's these people, the ones who aren't welcome, the ones whose voice, whose authority, whose testimony would barely be valued, they are given the news. And they come into the town. I don't know if they leave their sheep or not, it doesn't say. Maybe they bring all the sheep. There's a colossal baaing and rumbling as they come in and find Mary and Joseph and the baby lying in a manger. And that's cosy enough. Yeah, I complain about people being forensic, but I mean, how many more nativity films are you going to see where these wise men, of course they're kings because that makes it sound more glamorous, they come in and they shove the shepherds aside and lay down their almost completely irrelevant gifts. Anyway, let's suppose it's 2 years later. Mary and Joseph have settled down. They found a roof over their head. They have a house in Bethlehem. And in come the experts. It doesn't say in the Greek of the Bible that the wise men were wise. It says simply they were magi, maybe Zoroastrians. They were certainly people of a different faith, and that's great. But we have there what we're seeing, what I saw at COP, what we're seeing around the world, that people who are detached experts, who do not take account of the context and the local situation and the wisdom of the people, can just blunder in and cause this tipping point of disaster. Herod, just to make sure, and of course it isn't recorded. Would you want to record something like that? It's completely in character with what is recorded about Herod, that he sends out his men of violence and murders all the children. just to make sure. Not just the boys. Again, people try and tell this story as if it was a proper, sensible, rational sort of thing. Not just the children, not just the boys, but all the children, 2 years and under, just to make sure. At which point we discover that our Saviour is a refugee. Our Saviour is part of that community who are yet again not welcome, yet again in danger. That's where the voice of God, the message of the gospel, the good news is going to come from. The people, not who walked in darkness, but who have been forced into darkness by the injustice, which is the everyday way of the world in our time, as well as back then. But then again, there is hope in the little people. They hear Herod has died. The coast is clear. They come back. And Jesus grows up as a devoted, observant Jew, absorbs the holy heritage of Israel and brings that with him. So have a happy Christmas. Remember, you owe it. We owe Christmas to refugees. We owe Christmas to the people who are disregarded. We owe Christmas to a God who listens to the voices of the children and the young people. A God whom we profess to follow. God, give us grace and joy on the road ahead.